This is NDTV, and you're watching NDTV Profit.
You're on a very special edition of Business on Course. It comes to you, and this is from Beloit, which is in Wisconsin, but not very far away from Rockford, which is now beginning to become what's the Scotland of America, thanks to the number of golf courses it has. And with me is a very special guest. This is Professor Tom Warren, who's written a book called An Old Caddy Looks Back. But that has got absolutely an amazing amount of history in it about golf and about how America is really making it progress. What triggered this whole thing for you, and why did you sit down to write this whole book?
Well, I was a beneficiary of the golf that Rockford, Illinois provided to me as a young child and as an adolescent growing up. And because of the golf that I and many of my friends have been able to take advantage of, we've traveled the world. We've played golf all over. But when it comes back to our hometown, there is no place in America that does it better than Rockford, Illinois. And part of it is the number of courses per players of golf, but even more important, it's the values of the community relative to golf. Golf for everyone. See? Now that's easy to say, but not necessarily easy to do.
So the lesson perhaps then is that, you know, it's very important to have public courses that allow and progress the whole idea of playing golf at a time when people are young and also can't afford it, and therefore you want to sit back and, you know, give that encouragement? Absolutely.
Public access to courses, public access to even private courses. I mean, they don't have to be municipally owned, although many of them in Rockford are, but to have children become potentially interested in golf, many of us think is important.
When did you start playing golf? How old were you?
I was 7 years old, and I started playing on the public courses of Rockford with my mother and father. My mother was very influential in my starting to play golf, and she helped my father get interested, and then they got me interested, and many of our friends picked up. But the community of Rockford was so supportive at that time. They virtually allowed me to play free. They gave me access to all sorts of things. And as a child growing up, I thought Rockford was a great place. But now as an adult writing a book that features this story, more than ever I'm impressed with what Rockford
Why did you choose this title, An Old Caddy Looks Back?
Well, my academic background leads me to what I call descriptive titles. In other words, I want my title to describe truly what it's about. So that title does tell what the book is about. I'm the old caddy. I'm looking back at my history and the history of the town. Okay, the town is the star of the book. Rockford, Illinois is the main event because that's the environment and the setting from which all this happens. But Tiger Woods plays a very important part in our story.
And how is that? Because I think, you know, when we're talking to you because India is now in love with golf.
Yes.
And if one thinks of corporate India, they adore it.
Yeah.
But they are trying their best to master it. It's also a big tool to get them a little more patient, sign deals on the courses. All that said,
yes,
they are looking to go out and play at newer courses, at newer places. And while Scotland might have been one place which they've always dreamt of, there's a lot of scope, as your book suggests, to play in Rockford.
There is. I mean, there are wonderful courses in Rockford. The people love the golf. It's not very expensive. But I think the main, some of the main points behind your comment there is golf is endlessly fascinating, endlessly frustrating. You never get there. I mean, even Tiger never gets there. You know, Tiger's on his second significant teacher since he went on the professional tour. Even Tiger has his bad days, but for most of us that play golf, I call it wonderfully frustrating, see?
Yes.
Because you think that you've got it, you think that you can do something halfway decently, and of course you can't really, until you keep going back at it. But it's the getting there, it's the journey through golf. You know, that could be a substitute title for my book, but I've never thought of that until right now.
Well, you could think of writing another one.
That's right.
Well, I must tell our viewers, you know, one of the reasons why he has this on his driver is because, of course, he's completely in love with Tiger Woods, like every single person who plays or loves golf is. And this was gifted to him by his daughter because that's how passionate about golf he is. And as he said, his family has been playing golf, and his dad, there's a very nice picture of his dad in this playing golf, which we'll show you. But I want to talk to you more about how, when you associate with just the history of Rockford and golf, now it's time to look ahead. And what is it that Rockford is doing right for ensuring that a lot more people from outside the world, I mean outside America, in the rest of the world, come in and play?
The main thing in Rockford, and this is an American story, is being racially inclusive and socioeconomically inclusive, allowing people, irrespective of their upbringing, irrespective of socioeconomic status or their racial origin, being able to have access to golf. Now, golf is more difficult than football, or what we call soccer over here. But when young people get hooked on golf, it can have lifetime advantages that often have been you might say, appropriate benefits for very wealthy people. It's no accident that very wealthy people play golf, because it has so many benefits. It has the social and the business benefits. It has the physical exercise. It has the camaraderie. It has the controlled frustrations. It puts us in our place.
They love to say, however, that, you know, it's a rich man's game, but it's got many poor players.
It is a rich man's game. It's a rich woman's game. It's a middle-class game. It's a poor person's game. It's everyone's game. Now, for me to say that is truly not accepted throughout the whole world, but that is what Rockford embodies. That's what Scotland essentially embodies. So I have one chapter in the book talking about Rockford, Scotland, in that sense.
A couple of chapters in the book also talk about how Rockford was, you know, chosen for by the Tiger Woods Foundation, and you're closely associated with making this